Hello everyone. So the next topic is about the Darwinian's fitness. So what is it about? So let's start with the topic. So Charles Darwin, he was a very famous naturalist of the 19th century. So he made an extensive study on the nature for over 20 years. So his study was as long as 20 years. So according to his study, he collected the observations on animal distribution and the relationship between the living and the extinct animals, and finally found that the present living animals share some of the similarities, not only between them but also with other species as well that was existed about millions of years ago, and among which some have become extinct. So his theory was based on that. So this was the Darwin's theory. So he gave the theory of evolution as well, which is known as the theory of natural selection. And he published a book on that, which is the origin of species by the natural selection. So this is how the evolution takes place, that from a monkey, the of the mutations of the evolution that change into the human being, or you can say that it is a Homo sapien which is being formed. So there are some of the postulates also which was being given by Darwin. There is a fitness theory, there is a natural selection process which was being given by Darwin. So he proposed many famous theories which is uh, in his book. So what is Darwin's theory about? So Darwin's theory says that all the organisms reproduce and multiply enormously. No two individuals are alike. So they are different from each other either in the size, their shape, behavior, etc. So there are some traits that are constantly passed on from their parents to the offspring. So the rate of reproduction varies in all the living species. So some reproduce more and some reproduce minimum. So these were the few main features of the theory which was being given by the Darwin, which he was a famous geologist, biologist, as well as his theory is known as the theory of evolution and the process of natural selection. The next is about the Darwin's fitness theory. So the Darwin, he gave many famous theories. So one of this is the Darwin's fitness theory. So in this, he describes that how successful an organism has been at passing its own genes. So how can organism pass its own genes? The more likely that an individual is able to survive and live longer to reproduce, the higher is the fitness of that individual. So if the individual is fit, their chances of survival will be more, and they can live long and they can reproduce also. So it may indicate that the relative measure of the reproductive success of an organism in passing its genes to the next generation. So he also said that it denotes the relative ability of an individual or population to survive, reproduce and propagate genes in an environment. So he says that if an individual is fit and he is able to survive and live long, he will able to reproduce as well and propagate its genes in the environment. So when one says an organism is biologically fit, it means that the organism is adapted and suitable to its environment based on its relative reproductive success with respect to its population. So this was about the Darwin's fitness theory. The next is about the theory of evolution. So there were several theories of evolution which was being given. So the first cellular form of life appeared on the earth was about 2000 million years ago. So it was about 2000 million years ago. So later, single celled organism, multicellular forms and invertebrates were formed and they become active. Then there was a jawless fish which evolved, and there were different organisms which started to invade from water to land. So later, the amphibians, reptiles, some of them to viviparous mammals come into existence. And about 23.033 to 5.33 million years ago, primates that resemble the tortoise, gorillas, and chimpanzees. So during the Ice Age between 75,000 to 10,000 years ago, modern Homo sapiens arose. So what was the evidence of this evolution? So the evidence is that, so it indicates that about all the paleontological evidence which denotes that life forms have arisen at various instances in the Earth's history, which covers the fossils, rocks from sediments, etc. So there were many evidence which describe this theory. Also, okay, so there was a Hardy-Weinberg principle which states that alleles frequencies in a population are stable and is constant from generation to generation, and the gene pool remains constant. So this referred to an genetic equilibrium where the sum total of all the allelic frequencies is 1. So this was the principle by Hardy-Weinberg. So yeah, this was all about it. So these are some of the references.